I trusted my boyfriend completely, until one small detail on his phone made me realize I was never the only one. Trust wasn't something I gave easily, not because I had been hurt before, but because I had seen what broken trust looked like in other people's lives. The doubt, the constant questioning, the way it slowly eats away at something that once felt safe. So when I got into a relationship with him, I made a quiet decision. If I was going to do this, I was going to do it fully. No half-trust, no constant suspicion, just honesty and belief. And for a long time, it felt like the right choice. He was consistent, present, attentive in all the ways that matter. He remembered small things, checked in without being asked, made me feel like I was a priority, not an option. That kind of consistency builds something strong. It makes you stop looking for problems. It makes you feel secure, and I did feel secure. That's why the small changes didn't stand out at first, because when something has always been stable, you don't expect it to shift. You assume it's just a phase, a bad day, a random mood. He started becoming more attached to his phone, not in an obvious way, just slightly more than before. He'd reply quicker, hold onto it a little tighter, turn it away when typing sometimes. It wasn't enough to accuse him of anything. It was just enough to notice if you were paying attention. And I wasn't, not really, because I didn't want to be that person, the one who looks for signs instead of trusting what's in front of her, so I ignored it. Even when he started stepping out to take certain calls, even when he smiled at messages and didn't explain why, I told myself it was normal. People have friends, people have private conversations. Not everything has to involve me. And that belief kept everything calm. It kept me from asking questions I wasn't ready to hear answers to. Until one night changed everything. It was a quiet evening. Nothing unusual. We were sitting together, his head resting against my shoulder, while we watched something neither of us was really paying attention to. At some point, he got up to grab water from the kitchen and left his phone beside me on the couch. I didn't reach for it. I wasn't interested in checking it. That had never been part of our relationship. But then it buzzed. Once, then again. And the screen lit up just enough for me to see it. Just one small detail. That's all it took. A contact name, followed by a single emoji. A heart. Not something dramatic. Not something that screams betrayal instantly, but something that doesn't belong in a normal conversation either. My eyes stayed on the screen longer than they should have. Not because I wanted to invade his privacy, but because something about that one detail didn't feel right. It felt out of place, like a small crack in something I thought was solid. I told myself it could mean anything. People use emojis casually. It doesn't always mean something serious. But then another message came through. I miss you. That's when the feeling changed. It wasn't confusion anymore. It was clarity trying to break through denial. My chest tightened slightly as I stared at the screen, and for the first time in our relationship, I didn't look away. I picked up the phone, slowly, almost like I was giving myself time to stop, but I didn't stop, because deep down, I already knew I needed to see the truth. The phone unlocked easily, and within seconds, everything I thought I knew started falling apart. It wasn't just one message. It wasn't one person. It was a pattern. Conversations that stretched back weeks, maybe longer, late-night messages, inside jokes, emotional check-ins that felt too personal to ignore, and then the detail that made everything impossible to deny. The way he spoke differently there. Softer, more open, more like the version of him I thought only existed with me. I scrolled for a few more seconds before locking the phone again. My hands felt colder than they should have. My thoughts quieter than expected, because sometimes the truth doesn't explode. It settles, slowly. He walked back into the room a moment later, completely normal, smiling, sitting beside me like nothing had changed, and I looked at him. Really looked at him, not the version I thought I knew, but the one I had just discovered. Then I asked the only question that mattered. Who is she? And just like that, everything between us shifted.